create and form new ways to express source, to boldly go where no soul has gone before. This is from 1992, where President George H.W. Bush collapsed and vomited during an official trip to Japan. The media called it the stomach flu, but there was insiders who knew better. Okay, there's a whistleblower on the dark net who is 85 years old who says he was part of the George W. Bush detail when he died. Yeah, I said it. When he died. Don't shoot the messenger. He said Secret Service had emergency protocols for events like this, but they were not allowed to implement the protocols before a group of men in black suits came and took over after no pulse was found on the president. This happened on my birthday, in January 8th, 1992. Yeah, I was a young man back then. The men in black took the body in a dark-colored ambulance, he says, and Secret Service was told not to speak to the news. And they kept Bush overnight. And the very next day, on January 9th, Bush was returned, and the Secret Service detail was different, and the old Secret Service detail was not alerted, and Bush had a new detail in which no one knew who they were. Interesting, right? The whistleblower claims that two of his co-workers went missing after they wrote up on the report that they had took all the vitals and that the president had no pulse and had died. But the very next day, old Bush was at a news conference with Emperor Akihito, looking brand new. You can't make this up, guys. They've been doing this for a while, replacing people with what? Got to be careful, man, because news is coming out so quickly. You got to be prepared for anything like this right here.
What is that out there?
Oh my God.
It's coming straight at us.
Oh my God. It's a baby gazelle. Oh my God. It's in my lap.
Close the window. Close it now.
I don't understand what the hell I'm talking about here. Took me a while to get it down so where I could present it to you in a way that, you know, everybody can understand and understand it. But here's some more news from the dark net. Let me just tell you guys, Stargates are real. I know people will say, "Oh, Sarge, you know, you've been watching too many of those TV shows and all that." No, I haven't. Okay, because if you don't see the pattern, if you're a true pattern recognition specialist, you can see that they always tell us what they're doing in a way that it doesn't seem like that's what they're doing. Okay, like those television programs about Star Trek, Stargate, and all these other stuff. It's soft disclosure. Okay, that's all I can say. Stargates are real, and they were all over the planet. But they were mostly concentrated in the Middle East. For example, there are documents that they are discovering on the dark net that point to the fact that the Iraq war was fought because of the deep state trying to get 3 Stargates that was located in those countries over there. Okay, especially Iraq. Remember, this was a war being fought over there in 2003 with the invasion of Iraq. Well, it was being fought by the Good Alliance versus the Dark Alliance even back then. And thank goodness that the good guys won, from what I'm seeing and hearing from my team that's reading these documents. They say the Stargates were moved to an unknown locations, and they split them up. And the reptiles, okay, was the black hat proxies. All right, so I'm just gonna just say it straight to you guys. All these Middle East wars and everything, it wasn't because of, I mean, it was some terrorism that they were basically over there trying to take down, but I'll say 99% of it wasn't about terrorism. It was about controlling these ancient artifacts that the deep state, the dark hats, wanted to get their hands on. Because you can see when they went into Iraq, they told a lie about weapons of mass destruction and all that other crap that they was feeding us so that they could send troops over there. That was the dark hats trying to get control over Stargate there. And then in 2011, and I had a lot of buddies that served in Afghanistan, in the Kuwait, in Libya. These was also places where these Stargates were at. Okay, when Hillary Clinton said that famous line, she was freaking talking about, we came, we saw, he died, talking about Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi. She was gleeful over that, but that glee did not lead to victory for the dark hats. Okay, matter of fact, Gaddafi was a good guy. He was actually giving his people benefits. He was giving his people free energy, or they didn't have to pay for air conditioning, free medical. He was taking care. He wasn't a dictator like you heard from the news. And the only ones he was killing was those that were there trying to steal his country and steal the technology that was hidden from ancient days. So we gotta just, we're not gonna listen to his story anymore. We're gonna look at it from a point of information that we get is like we've been lied to about everything. They lied to us about 9/11, which was another, grand theft event, because they were losing control and they knew that their time was getting close to the end. So this is what these criminals do, man. They try to take control, and the most hardest country to take control over is the United States of America. They had to have control over America. That's why you see all these people out there now talking about Trump, because they lost control. The good guys are back in control now. And it took them a while. They had to go through 9/11, the Middle East wars, all these things to get back control. So this has been happening over time. It not just started when Trump came down that escalator. Trump came down that escalator because the military picked him to choose it to go and get this shit over with. And it's still going on in certain places as we speak. So that's just all I want to say. So let's get back to what is a Stargate. Now, I want to get into this because if you're a human, all right, it is written in it's in your DNA to remember about Stargates, because we were the ones that actually created Stargates. A Stargate could simply be called a portal. You guys know what a portal is. A portal connects two distant points in space-time, okay, like a tunnel through the universe. All right, you can imagine a flat sheet of paper. You put a dot at the top and a dot at the bottom, and the distance between those two dots, it looks like it's a long way from one another. But when you take that piece of paper and you fold that top down to the bottom, you can basically bring it close. Imagine bringing close to the two dots by folding the paper, and then you poke a hole through it. That hole would represent the portal, the Stargate. Matter and energy is said to curve space-time. So if you can manipulate that curvature, you can connect the two distant points. And you got to have some type of powerful instruments, okay, quantum on a quantum level, to actually hold a portal open. And you would need negative energy density or something like exotic matter, which I think we already have. I mean, I don't think we know. I know we have. This kind of matter would push the 2 points, or pull the 2 points together, like gravity, or what they call it. But it's not gravity. It's electromagnetic connections between the 2 points. So we're gonna get. I don't want to get into the quantum entanglement, but it suggests that entangled particles may be connected by these type of wormholes naturally. So what the quantum computers that we have can do is simulate complex mathematical equations that could actually show scientists how to curve space-time. And they could create a Stargate. And what would happen is you could use these computers to have it stabilize the wormholes that they create. So I really think that that's what they're doing, and I think that's what they got. And they wanted to actually reverse engineer some of these Stargates from 850,000 years old. Some of them are. Okay, and it's really amazing that we're still here. Matter of fact, I came across a piece, and I'm just going to talk about this for a second. But I came across some information that the Ark of the Covenant was actually a Stargate 2. Okay, that they would use to open up the Stargate. The Ark of the Covenant was created by some very technologically advanced humans, probably from Atlantis or Hyperborea. Okay, and these Hyperboreans are said to have come from Andromeda a long time ago, over 840,000 years ago. And when they got here, they basically came into a 5D world. It was called Terra, okay? 5D Earth Terra. And that Ark was built to connect the Earth's D2 core, which was renamed Stargate 3. And on these papers, it says it connected it to Stargate 9, which was in the Andromeda galaxy. And this would allow souls of Terra to be transported to the Andromeda Stargate 9 to save their asses back then, because it was being invaded at one point. And that's what we would call the Great War. And that happened about 450,000 years ago. Okay, and the golden box described in this in the Bible, it actually correlates to that time, 9,558 years before Yeshua. Okay, and it contained the rod and staff, and the rod and staff was actually tools to open the stargates. That is why King David said, "Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me," because they were literal instruments to open stargates. See, in the Ark of Covenant and stargates, they're not myth. They're part of your cosmic memory. And that is the hardest part for me to come here and talk about. But sooner or later, it's going to come out, and we conspiracy theorists are going to be proven right once again. All right. Yeah. I apologize by putting this face here on this video, but it's happy news. Finally, after 38 years of service, her old ass is freaking retiring. 38 years. She's 85. And it made me go look to see the average age of your Congress people, Senate and regular Congress. The average age is 65 years old. 65 years old. Well, 64.7. That's 65 to me. I mean, what is wrong with us? Why can't we put some young people in there? I mean, these people are serving terms that... Now, I don't have anything really bad to say about Chuck Grassley. But come on, Chuck. You've been in office for 50 years. That's my lifetime. You've been serving since I was a toddler. What the hell? Ed Markey, 48 years. Ron Wyden, 44 years. And Chuck Schumer, 44 years. Hal Rogers, 44 years. Chris Smith, 44 years. Hoyer in Maryland, 44 years. Dick Durbin, 42 years. What the hell are y'all doing? When the country was first created, it was a volunteering thing, okay, to serve your country. And they would usually serve between 1 and 4 years, if that. This is why we need term limits, man, because you get these people in there and you talking about they calling Donald Trump a king. Even kings. What was the longest living king? I went to look that up. The record is held by, some people say Fidel Castro. He's 52 years. And there's another one, is Paul Biya of Cameroon. He's been in office since 82. But you can't find too many other kings that serve even between 20 years and 30 years. I mean, these people are out of their freaking gourds. They don't even need an alarm clock to wake up anymore because I don't even think they're waking up. What the hell are we doing here? But good riddance, Nancy. And we all know that you ain't retiring because you wanted to. You're retiring because you have been retired. That's enough of that right now. Oh, this is just a reminder from Q Post 24. Any person making statements that they will not be seeking re-election was put in submission for the betterment of the country. Not all will be prosecuted, and all will do as told. You will see more of this occur. Not normal yet, disregarded, and even on the D side. I'm just saying.
Mark Carney just admitted the globalist world order is gone. What forced his confession? Donald Trump's historic breakthrough in Asia, deals with Xi Jinping and other leaders that completely bypass the British imperial system.
I'm putting this in here because you hear it first here on Icons. I told you the other day in my video that this was going on, that they were taking out the European basically cabal system, and he was going over there making deals with these countries so we could move forward, getting closer and closer to the QFS, or the new world order, that where we, the people of planet Earth, will be in charge. But just listen to the rest of what she said. It's very important.
So here's what the Canadian Prime Minister said.
Today, we're facing another hinge moment in history. Our world is undergoing one of the most profound shifts since the fall of the Berlin Wall. And that old world, the world in which APEC prospered, but also helped to foster that old world of steady expansion of rules-based liberalized trade and investment, a world on which so much of our nation's prosperity, very much Canada's included, that world is gone.
Think about that. The man the British Empire sent to Asia to counter Trump just said it out loud. Trump left us in the dust. But here's what the establishment doesn't want you to know. Trump faces more resistance at home than abroad. And that domestic resistance, that's the real battle for 2026. I'm Susan Kokinda. I've been fighting to revive the real American economics since the 1970s. But I've seen how British economics, free trade, globalism, environmentalism have spread like an infection, and it's almost killed us until Donald Trump came along and started to administer the cure. So if this sounds like your kind of fight, please hit the like and share buttons so we can spread our reach on YouTube. Today, I'm going to show you why Trump's biggest threat isn't Beijing or Moscow. It's in the US, among Republicans who don't understand his revolution, or worse, oppose it. And second, I'll reveal exactly what Trump did in Asia that has the British in full panic mode, and how that is the key to victory. So let me start with an uncomfortable truth. Americans do love Trump's economic populism, but they don't associate it with the Republican Party. And I think you can figure out what that means for 2026. A recent Rasmussen poll exposed this dangerous gap. Here's the question they asked people. Economic populism is a political and economic approach that emphasizes growth and income distribution, often opposing the perceived elites in favor of the interests of the common people. Do you agree or disagree that America needs more economic populism? The result? 58% said yes. And take note, that's to more economic populism. And 46% call Trump's economic performance good or excellent. In other words, he's delivering. But here's the problem. When asked which party will deliver economic populism, 46% said the Democrats, that's the blue bar, and only 26% said Republicans, that's the red bar in the middle. The way the Rasmussen pollster Mark Mitchell put it is, Trump is out on the battlefield all by himself. Why? Because below Trump's cabinet level, most Republicans still don't understand what Trump is doing. They're reading from the old Contract with America playbook, protecting free markets and the financial bubble at the expense of our physical economy. They don't get that Trump is not focused on
I ended
accounting.
that because what they don't get and what she actually doesn't get is that this is a war for the world. Okay, it's not just Trump's policies. Okay, that's happening here. This is way beyond Trump. Okay, this is for the Republic of Earth, as I'm going to call it. Okay, because all the people on this planet has been controlled by like 0.0000001% of our population. And I tend to think that they're not even human. They can't be classified as having humanity, as what I'm trying to say. And that's why they're putting all these crazy policies out there like climate change and all this other crap to get rid of carbon. Because does it make sense that we're carbon-based entities and all the plants and animals on this freaking planet is carbon-based entities? But we want to get carbon removed from the atmosphere. Make it make sense to me, because it doesn't. All right. So we are at war with those people, and she doesn't get it yet. She probably will. She's very smart, but Trump is working for the betterment of humanity, not just America.
I hope you're getting ready for ISO 20022 because the Phoenix is about to rise, because the global financial game is being rewritten in real time. The old Swift messaging rails are being ripped out and replaced with smarter, faster, fully digital language that connects banks, institutions, and blockchains in real time. This isn't theory. This is happening right now across 200 plus countries. And the tokens tied to the transition, these aren't meme coins. These are infrastructure. XRP, XDC, Algo, HBAR, Quant, and XLM. These aren't investments. They're positions in the new financial operating system. While most people are still stuck watching CNBC, the money is already being rerouted. ISO 20022 isn't just about new tech. It's about new control, new liquidity, and new opportunities for those with the eyes to see.
It's not like one political party is going to be, pure devil or pure angel. There's, I think there's much more corruption on the Democrat side, but it's not. There's still some corruption on the Republican side.
How
too.
did it happen that the majority of the corruption wound up being on the Democrat side?
Well, because the transfer payments, especially to illegals, are very much on the Democrat side.
So that's the root of it all, is the illegal situation.
Yes, I mean there's
or a focal point.
Yes, it's also like it would also be accurate to say that while obviously not everyone who's a Democrat is a criminal, almost everyone who is a criminal is a Democrat. because the Democrats are the soft on crime party. So if you're a criminal, who are you going to vote for?
Right.
The soft on crime party.
You know something, he's got a point there. But it really kills me that there's a lot of good people. That means that we have a lot of work to do. And I'm trying to do my part, and I hope all of you guys are doing your part. Let me know in the comments if you guys like the direction that I'm keeping this channel on. I'm trying to have many directions. I'm not letting it be just a channel of politics. And I don't want it just to be a channel of off-world or inner world or extra world information either. I want to go to because most of the time they don't get it. They don't know that we're in a war. And I'm not just going to waste my time with the type of information that they're trying to share with you guys. And most of it is like fear porn anyway. So I'm not going to give that any type of credence. And I'm going to move on to where we need to be. All right, so if you're out there, give me a shout out, and I want you guys to have peace, love, truth, prosperity, and authenticity in your lives every day. Live in the now, because that's all we got. That's your point of power.